Can't see the panelists.
Where did you go?
See hapo kwenye
Promote Edwin.
So check Victor and who? Victor and Edna. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I hope you have been having a very insightful and interesting day today. This is our University Outreach Festival, and this will be our final session, which will be a panel discussion on what skills and qualities do most employers look for in graduates. So we'll be having a couple of panelists and we'll be waiting for them to join. So I can see Edwin has already joined in. Karibu sana. Thank you for joining us as we wait for the other panelists. So yeah, we'll proceed with the session. Hello. Good afternoon once again. I can see our panelists are finally pulling in. Welcome, Francis. Welcome, Victor. Welcome to our panel session or our panel discussion for the evening. Karibuni sana. So maybe if we would start with brief introductions. My name is Melissa Sweetbird. I am a business and communication associate here at Smart Lab. And also I will proceed by introducing our guests, or if they would want to introduce themselves, that's fine. We do have Edwin Bruno, who is the CEO and founder of Smart Codes. We do have Francis from Innovate Hub, and we do have Victor Byemelwa from Coca-Cola. Karibuni sana.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
We'll also be having someone from Exim Bank who will join us shortly, but I think we can just proceed with brief introductions of yourselves as we also wait for her to join in a little bit later on. Okay, maybe if I start with Victor, please introduce yourself.
Yes, hi guys. Yeah, I'm Victor, and I'm sustainability and communication specialist. I'm from Coca-Cola Kwanza, and I'm feeling glad and I'm being honored to be part of this a very good platform for the youth. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Victor, for your introduction. Let's move on to Francis.
Yeah, I'm Francis Omorojie.
Omorojie.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for helping me pronounce your name. Could you please?
Yeah, so I lead the venture building wing of Innovate Hub. We are a transformative venture building innovation hub. Basically, we're supporting startups from idea to commercialization. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, happy to have you, Francis. Okay, and lastly but not least, Edwin Bruno, please just give a brief introduction of yourself to the audience.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa. So my name is Edwin Bruno. I'm the CEO at Smart Code, but personally, I'm passionate about, technology, media, innovation, startup, and any crazy idea in between. So I'm glad to be here.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all for your introductions. I think we will just proceed with the session and just briefly, this is the University Outreach Festival. So we have been having the University Outreach Program, which has been, it has been a long program since last year that has been able to connect students with corporates. We have done different sessions like corporate hackathons. We also involved them in trainings, which involve things like human-centered design and those soft skills or employability skills that students do need before they graduate or on their career. So just to proceed with our topic of discussion today. So the panelist question is, what are the skills and qualities that employers look for from fresh graduates before maybe they join the market or before they join the corporates that they would want to venture in? So I am pretty sure, because our audience is their university students, and they feel like that's a question that most of them have in their heads. What are the skills that these people really look at? I understand when we talk of skills, there are soft skills and there are also technical skills. So technical skills, or let's just call them hard skills, these are the ones that you are actually specialized in. So what you actually study at the university. Say, for example, I studied BCom in accounts. So maybe accounting, finance, if it's engineering, if it's computer science. So those are the technical skills, or let's call them the hard skills. And then we have soft skills. Now, soft skills, these are the ones that most times we do not learn them in when we're at school. We are usually expected to have them. Most of the times it's us taking an initiative or taking a step further on learning on how to acquire those skills. So such skills could be like communication skills. This could be anything ranging from how to pitch. This could be all the skills that are not taught at school. So these are the soft skills. Now, maybe if I just throw back this question to the panelists and ask them, what exactly are the skills that most employers look for or would want to see in graduates if they would want to employ them? So maybe let's begin with Victor. Please take it away.
Thanks much for this, and actually, wow, this is very good and very interesting topics. And I know majority of us, before even joining these corporate companies, we actually go through the universities, so the career journey, we understand a bit regarding how actually the life between the career journey towards especially corporates. So based on this topic, and actually it's a bit tricky on one way, but on the other side, we have to think the different perspectives. Firstly, every organization, every corporate, we have got our own values, we've got our own visions. So sometimes, despite of the qualities that we are interested with, but those qualities, they have actually to reflect with our visions, and also they have to ties up with our values. So in every corporate, we've got our own values, but there's very common things that we normally look. And actually for now, I just want to talk about to express issues regarding the soft skills. There is aspect of behavioral characters, and this is very interesting things. Despite of your professionalism, despite of your GPAs, but currently employers, they normally look of people or the candidates who they've got a sense of proactiveness. And this, for instance, for the case of a behavioral character of someone who is proactive, is something currently a majority of the corporates and majority of the employers we normally look for, because we don't want a candidate who actually, we need, let's say, someone who for someone to work, we need closer supervision. There's no that time, especially for this era. But there is a skills that we are looking after, and we are looking for, normally issues regarding problem solving. That's why in the majority of the interviews, we normally have the question, tell me about a certain time. Tell me about the time when you're doing something. Or we normally ask the question that they're focusing on in the scenario, and we just want to look on your ability, especially to solve a certain scenario. So currently, it's rather than your professionalism, but also the ability to problem solving. It's very important, because in the business life, problem solving, it's something that is very crucial and it's very inevitable. So skills like problem solving, it's very important for a candidate, especially to be considered. But on the other side, there is ability to actually someone to work with a team. It's very important, and currently it has become an issue. There is some of the tasks it needs obvious to work as a team. So for someone who has ability, that psychology towards working in the groups, working in the team, it's very important, because we're depending on each other, especially if you're an accountant. For, let's say, for manufacturer like us, you have to know how the procurement is going on. Those are part of things that we normally make a consideration, because it's very inevitable. And so it gives more advantage for someone who has a ability to work in team, because these departments do normally have a cross-functional. On other aspects, there are issues regarding how to control emotions. So emotional intelligence is something which is very, very crucial. Ability to understand that sense of pain, to have what we call emotional maturity. It's very, very important. And majority of youth, they lack that. So sometimes even their decisions, they are being driven by the emotions. So they lack emotional maturity. Lastly, to start with, there is issues regarding integrity, ethics. Now still it's an issue, and a majority of the company corporates, they're struggling regarding the issue of ethics. So these are qualities, and especially the study regarding ethics, you cannot, there's no any university that taught or teach someone to have a certain integrity. So sometimes it comes from the livelihoods, where the guys they're belonging to, and the lifestyle. So those are things that are very crucial, and you cannot find in any class that is someone is sit down and say that the integrity, you have to live with integrity, you have to live with the values. So for us as the corporate or as the company, when it comes to in the integrity, it's something that it has no discussion. So despite of your profession, despite of your performance, when you lack integrity, when you have actually the attitudes, those are part of things that are based on the experience. It makes some of the very good candidates, they fall down because of issues regarding integrity and ethics. So that's the thing that I just want to start with. Thanks,
Okay.
Madam Moderator.
Thank you so much, Victor. I know you have, this is very crucial because you've talked about at least 4 to 5 of them, which is, you've spoken about workplace ethics and behavior, which includes integrity, which is very key, because no matter how good you are at your job, but if integrity is very key, especially in guiding or in keeping company information confidential. And also we've spoken about teamwork and collaboration, which is true, because when you are at the workplace, you don't work solo, you don't work alone, you work with various people from different departments or different sectors. So it's very important to know how you can work and collaborate with other people. So maybe if I could also just bounce back this question to Edwin. Also, please tell us maybe a few of the skills that you personally think stand out to you and you feel like are very important, especially for these young graduates.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa. Yeah, so I think for me, of course, Victor have cemented a lot of important things in terms of skills, integrity and everything. But another thing which is very crucial and it's important, it's communication skills. Communication skills are very key because we understand most of our, university, graduates and things like that. They might be going to be shy in terms of explaining themselves during either to the interview or if they get an internship somewhere. But it's very important that they start to learn on how to communicate. And communication, they are actually in different ways. So communication in terms of either you didn't understand if maybe your manager, your line manager, in terms of the brief which they give you, and then you go on your little corner and start, sweating and wasting a lot of time, and then at the end of the day, you don't deliver what's need to be delivered. But also communication in terms of showcasing what else can you do, because those are really, really key things. Because nowadays, back in the days, people they used to work based on their certification. Let's say if you're a graduate maybe in accounts, then you need to go and do accounting. If you are maybe graduates maybe in law, you need to do those kind of things. But nowadays, based on the way the world is going and the industry, the way they operate, pretty much people, they look in terms of what different skills can you provide to the company based on that company values and mission. So to be able to communicate, either communication in terms of what things need to be done, which you have been given, but also another important communication, it's for you to explain yourself or to your line manager in terms of what else can you do. based on the mission of the company, because every company wants to grow, but it cannot grow without people put extra effort and time. So communication skill is really important. And another thing, for that communication skills to be cemented on, that means you need confidence. Confidence in terms of what the kind of things you are believing into. Though of course you have confidence, but also you need to have an ability to listen, because when you have confidence, you believe on what you believe, but also you need to be open and listen to learn from other people. So another important thing, it's more of for yourself to understand your purpose. The purpose, this is like the why you want to work with a certain company. What's drive you? Like when you wake up early in the morning, what's the purpose of you doing X, Y, Z? Because that now it's going to reflect the performance of your work on that organization. So if you showcase all of these kind of qualities in terms of communication, confidence, and showcase the passion with what you do, it's pretty much going to open more opportunity for you to grow within the company. So yeah, we can maybe start to look on those lists.
Okay, thank you so much, Edwin, for that insight. So Francis, we'll also give this to you. Please tell us what you think are some of the skills that you feel like are very important or crucial for graduates to have, that also most employers are looking for. Hello, Francis?
Okay, can you hear me? I think I was talking to myself. Yeah, so basically, I think it's about adaptiveness. Being able to adapt to change quickly. So upon that, and also decision making. So I'll start with being adaptive. So we're in a business environment that's ever changing. Every other day, new things are coming, innovations, technology, competition is becoming very tough, and everything. So you really need people that can actually go with the flow. Someone that that could actually understand that these are the changes that are happening in the workplace. These are the changes that need to happen, and they are able to quickly adapt, to that change. They react to that change very fast, because the company's transformation, especially in this digital age, it has to be very swift. And when you're having a workforce that takes time takes time to understand something, takes time to start changing, that actually slows down your pace, and that can actually be able to affect all your operations. So you are looking at every system element of the business. You are looking at people that can actually think and adapt very quickly. So if they need to learn new skills, they're able to learn very fast, and they can be able to implement that immediately. So that is, for me, that's very critical. Someone that can actually change with time and very quickly. And also this decision making, I think that also links to what Bruno was talking about, confidence. Sometimes there are some things that people need to be able to decide upon quickly and move with it. So also it links to what Victor was saying about the less supervision. We want people that actually have confidence to be able to say, I know what I'm talking about, and I have the ability to do something. And those kind of little decisions that they need to make to move their job forward or to achieve certain targets, they need to be able to make those kind of decisions without, thinking I have to wait for my line manager, I have to do this, I have to wait. So all of those things that can actually be able to slow down a lot of things that you want to do as a business or as a company. So so for me, I'm very keen about someone that is adaptive. And for you to be adaptive, you have to be a quick learner. You have to be a critical thinker. You have to be someone that is very flexible as well. So this for me is one of the biggest points, and also being able to make decisions at the level where you are. You are a communication person. You have to be able to know, like, at what point should I make a decision to be able to do this? You are a project person. At what point do I have to understand that I have to sign this contract? So all of those things, instead of just waiting every other time to, like, should I wait for your land manager to tell you everything, like, someone that they have to hold their hands from one step to the other. That's like is less utilization of resources. So we need people that, at a point where they're operating, at the department, at the position where they're operating, they have the ability, the confidence to be able to make decisions that can support the growth of the company.
Okay, thank you so much, Francis. I love the point whereby you and Edwin all emphasize on proactivity, especially whereby a person or an individual is able to work under minimum supervision. I know those are some of the questions you graduates might have. You might be asked, are you a person who works under minimum supervision? This is because the managers really have to do other things. They don't have to micromanage you and make sure you finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's really important proactivity. Now, I would want to throw a question to our panelists and ask. So we've spoken about all these soft skills that we feel like are very important for these young people to have. But also, I have a question. So between the skills and attitude, which one do you think? Which one would you look at as let's say, as an employer or as someone who is potentially trying to mentor or to onboard a fresh graduate? Which one is important? Their attitude or character, or is it the skills that they have? Maybe we could go back to Victor and say, what's your take on that?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Moderator. Basically, that's very good. Skills and attitude. To my side, I think both are very important. Both are very important because skill is something which is inevitable. Despite these hard skills, which is technical skills, it's something, it's a core. But attitude also, because attitude, it's toward the work. Attitude, it's something that defines your other activities. To my thinking, or to my thought, attitudes, it's what attitude can create the outcome of the team working. But attitude, it's something that I think it can bring someone actually. Sorry on this. I just want to make it clear. But for the case of the attitude, what I know and based on the experience is attitude. We are looking at attitude because through attitude, it's someone can become a proactive someone. But for the side of the attitude, it's a place where someone can know his responsibility or her responsibilities. But for the side of the skills, it's ability for someone to perform a certain activity. Skills, that's where it can define someone is an accountant, someone is a manufacturer, or someone else. But they need both. The combination of both, I think it's something that can give a very quality candidate towards the work. So you cannot ignore skills. Also, we cannot ignore the attitude. I think these two things have to come together, and for someone to have a complete package of a very competent candidate. This is my thought on this.
Okay, thank you so much, Victor, for your thought on that. So let's hear from Edwin. What do you think, Edwin? Between skills and attitude, what comes first to you? And do you think they should all be given the same weight?
Yeah. So because both, I think they're really important, especially on the skills one, because skills, it's a part whereby you now need to deliver something, or maybe skills, it's a part which you have been hired to do your work or to contribute to the organization. But now, when it comes to attitude, maybe when we talk about more of a positive attitude, and the attitude sometimes it's more of creativity around in terms of what you want to do. But now within the attitude, some other people, they lack the teamwork. That's why we say like someone have some attitude, but the most important thing is to make sure skills well equipped, because of course skills also somehow it can be taught, but attitude, it's more of, you know, someone to really understand that they have attitude, and to work with other people, how can that be, you know, being improved. But they both have a different effect into the organization.
Thank you so much, Edwin. Francis, what is your take on that?
Yeah, so I agree with Edwin as well. When you have the right attitude, you can learn anything. So when you have the skills, you don't have attitude, you can just be where you are. You can't even grow more than that. You know, you can have a lot of maybe arrogance or all of those things. When your attitude is really bad, even the skills you have, it's worthless at that point. So for me, I will always go for the attitude, because when you are having the right attitude, you are open to be able to learn anything. You are open, you become very positive, you become very creative, you become very ripe to be able to learn anything. So if you see, most of the time, people that have like the right attitude tend to grow faster than people that have the skills, because most of the time, people that have skills feel like, you know, they have it all. They become very arrogant. They have this kind of pride. So that actually deters how they are going to grow in their career. So when someone is having like that kind of positive attitude, that kind of learning attitude, then it's very easy for them to be able to jump on something. They could actually listen, they could actually take feedback, they could actually be able to learn new skills that can put them in a place where they can grow. And above all, they can be able to build the right relationships that can get them to the next level in their career. Right attitudes always attract like right relationships, and relationships are really very important in whatever you are building. It could be career, it could be business, any other thing. So it's always going to be attitude.
Okay, thank you so much, Francis, for that insight. So speaking of positive attitude, so I have another question that I want to shoot to the panelists again. So maybe I, as a fresh graduate or somebody who is at the university, so how do I get to develop my skills maybe while I am working for a company? So let's say, for instance, I've graduated and luckily I have landed my first job. Now, how do I get to develop my skills better? I've maybe received all the feedback. I need to work on 1, 2, 3. How do I get to develop my skills and just get to be better at what I do, and just to make my career journey smoother, and also a better way of going with it? So Victor, let's hear from you on that.
Yeah, thanks, Madam, for that. So for someone to develop his or her skills, there's a couple of issues that I think they have to be involved. Firstly, what I always say is the ability. It has to come from the internal, from the personal. Are you willing to actually to develop your skills? Because sometimes it's beyond the procedure or the development skill development plan that we have on our companies, but also it's eager. It's something that it has to come from someone, because okay, if someone is willing, or you think I'm willing to develop my skills, also it's something that it's as I've said, it's something that it should come from someone. But on the other side, we as a company, we've got several activities that we normally use as a skill development program. So for instance, for fresh graduates, we have got graduate and training programs. These are programs that we're intending to equip, because we understand despite of your skills, but there is in-job trainings. So through practices, so we have a program, 1-year program, that normally we recruit fresh graduates from the universities. So they are being taken through 1 year in job training. So through that, that's where you can come to realize that some of the people who they are very adaptive, so they're easy to adapt, and some of the people, they are proactive. They just want, you can see someone, he had that feeling of, or he had that individual efforts towards learnings. So he doesn't need someone to push, or he doesn't need someone knows the procedure that says for someone to develop do ABC, but he keep asking, he'll keep searching, and also keep reading and push to understand and finding some of the mentors. And at my side, I would think for someone to develop a skills, especially in workplace, you have to get a mentor. Mentor is very important. You should get someone who will guide you, who will actually show the way. And in the circumstance when you get some sort of a challenge during the work, you will actually refer. And a mentor, he might be someone who has some sort of experience. It might be not in your field, but someone who has who has experience of a certain career, who will take you through in case of the challenges, show you how in the past days or past years, how they actually solve a certain problem. It's very important. And to what I know, we normally learn from others, and you cannot avoid that. So apart from anything, you should have a mentor. You should have also a coach. Coach is very important because it will be someone who will coach. Someone will tell you, no, with this way you're wrong, and this way you're wrong. So by having a mentor, by having a coach, and for the case of the coach, he might be either your line manager or to whom are you reporting to. So these are very important. These are very important ways for someone to develop their skills, especially in their workplaces. It's very important to take a note of that.
Okay, thank you so much, Victor. Like you mentioned, mentors are very important. So maybe I would want to throw on this question on mentorship just to Edwin and say, so for a person or for a student or a graduate who is looking to have a mentor, does that person have to choose a mentor who is directly maybe in line with what they do? Let's say maybe they're their direct manager, and maybe let's say they are directly involved in the field of work they are doing, or could it be someone else, maybe from another industry, another field, another line of management? So which one do you think is more, which one would you advise better?
Yeah, so it's, of course, also it's really key for anyone who starts to work somewhere, even when you want to do anything new, to really have a mentor and a coach. So especially now when this graduate, when you come to start and work somewhere, the difference between the mentor and coach is the coach can be someone who you work with him or her directly, whereby, he is the one giving you, daily tasks and things like that. That is to say, he can coach you how to do it right. But the mentor, not necessarily to be the same person, but mentor can be, it's very important for the mentor to be someone else. And of course, it can be even within the same company, but someone else from, a different department, because now the mentor will help you to coach you in terms of the skills which you need, an area which you need to perform. And of course, the mentor also can act as the feedback from your manager indirectly, without the manager knows that you are getting that kind of feedback. Or a mentor can help you even identify the opportunity within that organization and what kind of an extra skills you might need to require so that you can perform and impress your coach, so that your coach can elevate you, or maybe the line manager can elevate you to do something else in between. So the mentor, it's more of someone who can direct you to the success, and the coach is someone who now is going to work with you in terms of practicality of your skills. Yeah. But also another important thing which need to be done within that, it's also for you to be flexible in terms of the things. Even if, let's say, you're in a certain department or your skills is to do X, Y, Z, but you can be flexible with your line manager in terms of what else you can do, so that they can assign you in, something new, and then pretty much at the end of the day, that's also going to elevate you into the next step. And then on top of that, even though you have a mentor and a coach and, do a lot of skills, for you to grow faster, it's really important to have your own person who you are inspired to be. Let's say, you are very passionate about, let's say, if it's technology, and then you love the way your CTO work, or maybe, and of course, the person who you are inspired with, not necessarily to be working in that company which you are working on, but anyone within the industry, because the coach and the mentor will explain, giving you the skills and the understanding of the industry, because what you are studying now in the university, it's really different to on ground in terms of what's happening in the industry. So within the industry, you can look in terms of who is inspire you. So if it's in marketing, who is the top person in marketing, who you want to be with that kind of a person. And then with that, it will help you to learn in terms of, what kind of skills or what kind of dedication you need to do in the lifestyle which you need to change in order for you to be dedicated to become the future of that person. And then, of course, with that, time to time, you measure, of course, with your mentor to understand, how quick you can reach there. And the good thing nowadays with most of organization, it's not about the age. It's not about, which university you went. It's all about what you can deliver. So developing your skills and showcase the skills and deliver together, working closely with your coach and mentor, it will really going to elevate for the growth of your career.
Okay, thank you so much, Edwin. Now, I have a question here from the chat session. So, guys, if you have any questions, you can simply raise your hand, or you can type it in the chat box, and I'll be able to raise it. So, Blessing Reikiza asked, what is the difference between a mentor and a role model? So, as we are still on the subject of mentorship and having a mentor, Francis, what do you think is the main difference between a mentor and a role model? And I know many people use those things.
From my understanding, a role model is like someone you look up to. So and a mentor is like someone that you engage with to guide you. Your mentor can also be your role model. So maybe I can give an example. Maybe I look up to Bruno when it comes to like maybe innovation and things like that. So Bruno is like a role model for me at that point. But when I take it, maybe a next step to talk to Bruno, like, can you support me to grow in this aspect? So I create like kind of a career development plan. I share with Bruno. He guides me, he inspires me, he challenges me. Then he becomes my mentor. So the difference is just that, like, a role model is someone that you look up to, maybe without telling them, you admire what they do, you try to want to, kind of emulate what they do and be like them or something. Then a mentor is like someone that actually engages with you to develop, to grow at that point. So your role model can be your mentor.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Francis. So let me just take us back to our discussion, which is what are the skills and qualities that employers look for in fresh graduates when they are trying to onboard them. So I have another question that says that, so for as a company, so this is generally maybe a question to the company. So as a company, what would you do, or what are the steps, or what are the things that you do to make sure you upskill your workers, or upskill? So this is not specifically just for graduates, but for every other employee that is in the company. What would you do to upskill your workers and make sure that they have those skills, or they have. So I understand things keep on changing, and as we go by with all this digital transformation in technology, there are things that we understand by, let's say, in the next 5 years, they'll be very, very relevant, and the ones that we're doing now might not be relevant. So how do we make sure that we upskill our employees and our workers in the company? So let me just take this question to Victor. Hello? I think you're muted.
Sorry, sorry, I actually muted. Sorry. Okay, fine. Thanks for that. Yeah, of course, skill development programs. It's not only for fresh graduates, so it's ongoing. As you understand, normally skill development, it's endless process. As we have said, as we've mentioned, the technologies and the new changes, especially for us on the side of the business, it's business practices. It's one day changes, one night changes. So we have to upgrade our employees. So on that, we have got there is two things, or there are 2 to 3 things that we normally use to put in place to ensure that our employees are being upgraded. For instance, there is in every year there is a scheduled training programs for employees in the different sections, and in these programs there is the programs for young or from the junior staffs to become a senior staffs, either from the officers to become managers. So there is a manager development career programs in our companies where we train young junior staffs on the skills, especially on the leadership skills programs. And on this is where even we find those junior staffs, we are connecting them with some of the senior managerial level managers to become their mentors. We are doing so to what we believe through that connectivity, they can share their experiences and they can even get a chance to understand how they handle the situation in case of that. But also we have, because this is an international corporate, so there's some of the program that they're coming from the group levels where they need our employees to understand. Some of them, it might be either because we have got our internal systems. So there's expertise there. They're coming from expatriates. They're coming from other countries. They're coming to train us, especially engagement of some of our internal management systems. When we introduce a new system, we have to upgrade. But also, the good thing enough with us, we also have a program for women in management, or women in leadership program. So there is a specific program to upgrade the women, where the women they get a chance to undergo a 1-year training, women in management, women in leadership training. So for women, we've got directors who are women. They're becoming mentors of those junior staffs to ensure that they excel and they're becoming more. They're becoming at another stage of our management positions. So for this, when it comes to skill development programs, we are taking something we are taking it very serious, because the moment you decide not upgrading your employees, that's where the company is about near to close. And it's something that we have to do so, because that's how the world needs us. It's not that something we want, but the world makes us to cope with that. Also, to wind up on that, through these programs, we have come to realize we have a session. Sorry, we have a session that we normally use. We call it talent development programs, and which is very important for even other corporate they normally use. There is some of the people during the work, we come to realize they've got a certain talent that are very unique. So we have the programs that take those people they are very talented in some of the specific areas, where through their talents, they're being connected with either within the company or out the company, even by being paid to upgrade or to keep maintaining their talents, to ensure that through the talent that they have, how would those talents bring back to our company. So we have that program, and normally those people who are good, let's say there's people who they've studied say low, but they are very talented in graphic design, they're very talented in the web designs. They're being upgraded not only within the country, even outside, because what we believe, despite of the skill, there's some of the people that put extra talents, and we have the program that protect and that enhance those talents to develop more and more. So those are part of things that we normally usually used to do so.
Okay, thank you so much, Victor. Thank you for really that insight whereby you've shared with us how different talent programs can be used to upskill employees. Senior talent can be attached to junior talent for them to be able to learn, and also for women, there's specific women in management skills development program. So also, let me also take this question to Edwin and ask him, especially for you as a CEO of an agency. So how do you upskill your employees in your specific sector?
Yeah, so
Hello, Edwin. I think you're...
upskill, it's a very hello? You can hear me, right?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Melissa, you can hear me, right?
Yes, now I can hear you, yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, so upskill, it's one of critical and important thing within our company, at which of course we are looking into, because you see, the company like us, we are in the industry whereby things are changing like every day. You sleep, you wake up, there's something new. So either it's in technology, either it's in media. That's why we want to stay innovative. So for us, we have, quarterly review meetings whereby sometimes we do sort of research to really understand what's missing. And then, of course, what's missing and what's actually new opportunity based on where we are going. So time to time, we do this training, especially on two types of training. So the training in terms of technical training. So technical training, this goes into departmental based on what kind of things are missing within the company. And those are kind of skills which maybe people might require. Let's say if it's developers, and then let's say the platform which they're using, it's been upgraded, and instead of bringing someone new to do what's need to be done, someone within the organization can be trained by hiring maybe an expert to come and train the team. And of course, also within the team themselves, especially, for example, our developers and the studio team, they have the skill sharing activities, whereby, for example, in creative and studio, whereby during the lunchtime, they actually do share in terms of what kind of things they find it's important for them to upgrade. And of course, the other people come and join on top of that. But also during this kind of training, it's where now people cement in terms of what extra talent do these people have. For example, for us in the agency, you have been seen whereby you can be maybe an administrator or someone from finance, but pretty much you have a skills like very good voice to sing. That's where for us, since we have a studio, we use our own talents in terms of people now. They become sort of like a voiceover artist. Other people, they're good looking. That means they can become models and things like that. So at the end of the day, you expand your knowledge within the industry, but not only that, you get an opportunity to experience something different. And then, of course, if that's a space which you want to grow into, pretty much it's going to now, when you say like now, when you up skills, of course, you're also going to up within the career ladder. That is to say, shifting from one department to another, and of course, from associate to senior associate to manager, and of course, growing to the top. So of course, you cannot grow if you are not, upgrading your skills in terms of what needs to be done. And of course, at the end of the day, training in terms of soft skills. So soft skills especially for us, we are looking more into, you know, the company culture. So when we come to talk about the company culture, it's more about what drives us in terms of value and the mission in terms of what we do. So within that, when we see there is maybe problem with communication, it's when now we bring maybe an expert in communication, whereby now our people can understand how to communicate better. We call it effective communication. And of course, within that, it's when now it's bring people together in terms of teamwork. And then within that, those kind of exercise, it's when we identify leaders, because sometimes, you know, there is difference between leaders and managers. So leaders, these are the people which, you know, they have an ability, you know, to gather and influence other people to do X, Y, Z. While manager, it's more of, you know, just to deliver what needs to be done and in a timely time manner, because time management also, it's really key in terms of growth. So for you to grow or to up skills, that means people also will look in terms of, you know, the time management around that. And then of course, within the ballpark, it's where now we put specific training based on what's needed by organization as a whole, or maybe by department, or by specific person based on where things are lacking.
Thank you so much, Edwin, for that. That was like you really preambled it and unpacked it very well in different avenues. So, okay, we can also go to you, Francis, and say, what do you think? What is your take on that with regards to how companies can upskill their employees in a company?
Yeah, so I think for me, it comes from first having like internal structures. I think most of the companies have that, having like internal capacity building plan for your organization. So maybe like maybe for us, I think for us, I would say we use like two approach. One is like, you know, knowledge building, like and also experiential development. So we look at, when people come in, we have them to be able to build like a career plan, understand what do they want to do, who do they want to become. Sometimes, especially when you are getting people from school, they tend to want to practice what they studied in school. So it's like a kind of a way of, it's a kind of journey that you have to go with them first, identifying like what are they even good at, what are they passionate about, what do they want to do. So you see, maybe the first few months, it's like kind of like a journey of understanding their career, understanding their own stand up, like what they want to do. So we have that kind of journey, like identification, helping them to understand what are they passionate about. And at that point, when we do that, we have other place of number and capacity building in terms of, now this is what they like, this is what they want to be. Then we now have to now explore two things, like, you know, looking for like mentors for them, and providing them opportunity to be able to learn practically, and also giving them skills and knowledge. So in that place, we organize like maybe trainings. We source for like courses that maybe like can be paid courses or something like that. They take these courses and they get mentored along that line. So we bring, you know, we bring both the theory aspect and the practical aspects together to ensure that as whatever they are learning in terms of the courses they are taking, they're able to find a place to be able to implement it and, you know, gain that experience. From that experience, they become more confident, and when they become more confident, they're able to deliver even better. So for us, we look for like all those learning and development opportunities. It could be maybe trainings that they maybe somebody is trying in project management. We look at for like project management trainings. We enroll them and all that. And we also, one of the biggest things we do is to ensure that they are matched to mentors. These mentors people in our network, and they're able to guide them in terms of their growth. And also we have our learning and development person is also having like, there's something like generally we've developed. It's more like we visualize people's development. So with that, the L&D person is able to understand that this person has been able to develop in this area and this area, and now they can be able to take up the next role. So we take that journey very personal with them and see like in a year and a half, they've actually transformed from what position they are to maybe a bigger position where they can lead people and be able to take more responsibilities and all that. So we do a lot of internal L&D processes, and also we try to also attach them to like external mentors to have like other external perspective of what career development is and how they can be able to grow from there. So those are like most of the things that we do at our workplace.
Okay, thank you so much, Francis, for that insight on how you upskill your employees in your company. So remember, guys, we are in a panel discussion that says what are the skills and requirements that companies look for in fresh graduates. So maybe if I go back to the chat box here, there is a question that that says, what is the difference between a talented person and a skilled person? Okay, so who would want to help us to answer that in our panel? Anybody who thinks, what is the difference between a talented person and a skilled person? Do you think talent is something that people are actually born with, or skills? Is it skilled people? Do they really acquire these things? So what is the difference between those two? Maybe let me shoot this to Victor.
Yes, thanks for that good question, by the way. Basically, as you've said, and actually you've helped us a lot, talent, I can actually define the talent as something like it's a natural aptitude, something related to it's inborn. So someone can acquire certain skills or can have a certain skill after undergoing, let's say, a certain programs. But for the case of the talent, it's something which is natural, it comes from. And for the case of the talent, you can develop your talent after you have come to realize, or some people have realized you've got a certain talent. So there are some of the people who they're talented in singing or singing or dancing or something. So you can develop your talent, but the way how it is, talent, it's something which is natural aptitude. So it's inborn, and it's good for someone to develop your talents. And even for the corporates, we normally encourage you should not ignore your talent despite your skill that you have. So it's better you possess a certain skills, but don't ignore their talents, because sometimes there's some of the people who they've come to be actually being employed or being tasked with another task because of their talent that they have. So sometimes talent to my side, it's something it's inborn. And you can shape your talents by gaining other opportunities or other development opportunities. That's what I find.
Okay, thank you so much, Victor, for that introduction or for that definition. So maybe I would want to shoot another question and say, so for a skill like leadership, is this a talent-born skill, or is this something that somebody can learn and acquire over time? Let me shoot this question to Bruno, Edwin Bruno. Hello, Edwin?
Yeah, I'm saying, of course, leadership, again, it's some sort of like the talent vis-a-vis skills. Yeah, because even at the end of the day, even if you have talent, at the end of the day, it's need to be managed, so that when the talent get managed, it's when now can be defined, as a deliverable to the company as some sort of like a skill. But the leadership now, it's that ability to be able, to understand, how things work. But of course, to have some sort of like an influence for leading other people in terms of For example, maybe you can actually, what example can I put? We can actually, in terms of putting leadership on top of it, it's more of be able to be proactive in terms of what kind of things you can share, or maybe in terms of the teamwork. And of course, to put into context in terms of leadership, it's an ability to be proactive, to do more, and of course to lead other people in terms of being able to suggest some different things, but also to be able to collaborate with other people in terms of that. I'll review again in that.
Okay, thank you so much, Edwin. Francis, what do you think? Leadership, is it a talent that someone is born with, or is it a skill that someone acquires over time?
So for me, I think leadership is something that you learn. Of course, it's kind of tricky. Like a talent is just wrong when you don't, like how Bruno said, manage, when you don't kind of sharpen it. So it's like, when you dig up like a gold or something, or diamond, it's very dirty. That's like a talent, something like that. So you need to refine it. You need to be able to, practice it for it to be, for it to become something very valuable. Yeah. So either ways, even if the leadership comes at a talent, you need to be able to practice. You need to be able to, polish it for it to become very valuable for you at the workplace. So I would say that leadership is something you have to learn. So even if it's a talent that you are born with, you still need to refine it a bit. You still need to practice it. You still need to improve on it for it to become something very real that you can be able to appreciate over time.
Okay, thank you so much, Francis. So I'm just looking here at our chat box. There are no more questions. So team and the rest who have joined, if you have any questions to our panelists, you can just write them in our chat box and also in the Q&A session, or you may also raise your hand. Remember, our topic for discussion is what are the skills and requirements that most companies or corporates look for when they want to hire graduates. So maybe just back to the panelists, if there is any, let's say, any last advice or any last remarks, I would say, okay, so let me just shoot a question, one final question. If there are one or two skills that you would recommend for a fresh graduate to have, two most important skills, just you can mention them, what are they? Let me start with you, Victor, then Edwin, then we can go to Francis. Two most important skills.
Oh, thanks for that. Two, very few, but to my side, problem solving skills is very important, and they have to put into note. Despite of anything, also they should have a skills on and this is not a skills. I'm putting emphasis on they should have a strong work ethics. These are very two important things that have to take into consideration. But also, in the aspect of behavioral characters, they have to make sure that they become very proactive. They have to begin with the end in mind. That's very important. For anything that they are doing, that's my message. They have to begin with an end in mind. And lastly, they have to put first thing first. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Victor. So to you, Edwin, what are the two or what are like the priority skills you feel like a graduate should have? And any last comments from you, please?
Yeah. So for me, it's always communication skills. Communication skills, because also it's combined a lot of things on top of it. So whether if it's showcasing your talents or if it's on problem solving, because now communication skills, it helps now to be able to come with a solution wherever the organization or department is facing a certain challenge. So communication skills, it's very key. And the other thing, it's teamwork, because if you work within the company and you're not collaborating with others, you just want to be the one, only seeing like you have finished your work, but you don't want to help other, or maybe you don't use you don't communicate with other in terms of what need to be done extra based on the solution which as a team you are working on. That means it's not setting up the company to success. So communication skill, number one, and number two, teamwork. Those are very important soft skills whereby each one should have.
Okay, thank you so much, Edwin. Francis, I would want you to answer the same question, but first, there is just one question that has come here in the Q&A session that says, what is the one skill, soft or hard, have you felt is lacking the most, especially I think in the graduates? What is that one skill that it's common, most of the graduates that you encounter usually lack that skill?
Is that for me? Okay, so one skill. It can be hard skill because it's that you can learn. I think for me is one of the skills, like I won't call it, maybe it's a kind of behavior attitude. What I see is people that ability, that eagerness to want to learn is always missing. I even when I was doing recruitment and all that, and also when I get a chance to be on interviews and something like that, when I see like people coming to interviews, young people, I don't see that drive to want to learn and contribute. So there is this kind of laid back attitude to like I study mass communication. Anything you want me to do, I can do. Can you give me, something like that? I'm not seeing that energy, that fire, that shows that they want to learn, they want to contribute, they want to be part of something, to change something. So that is always lacking. And when you're not able to transfer that kind of energy to me, then it's like, okay, if we cannot connect right now, then I don't think we can be able to work together. So my advice, like I don't expect like most of the young people like from recent graduate to have all of the skills in this world, but you should be able to position yourself to say like, I have the energy, I'm passionate, and I am here to learn, and also I want to be part of a big thing. That kind of, you have to be able to sell that energy. I think it also reflects to what Bruno was talking about, the communication. I think it goes there as well. How do you even sell yourself? How will you want me to buy in? Because at that point, I'm not interviewing you for like hard skills or like this kind of big experience. I just want to know you as a person. So if you're not able to sell yourself well, if you're not able to communicate that you have this drive, you have this passion, you care about what you are applying for, then it wouldn't, there's no other value that could actually make someone want to hire you at that point. So I think that is something that is always missing.
Okay, thank you so much, Francis, for that. I think you have really explained it well, because personally, I feel like that's also something that I usually kind of emphasize to the younger people, especially graduates, that especially when you're at an interview or you're trying to talk to someone, maybe you'd want a job, they usually don't look at the hard skills because they don't expect you to have all that experience as compared to someone who's already been in the industry. But are you willing to be able to learn? Are you eager to acquire all those skills? Are you able to learn? That is exactly what they look for. And yeah, I think that is something that as young people, we should be able to we should have that in us. We should be eager. We should jump for all opportunities. We should just go for them. So yeah, as I look at our time, we are almost running out of time, but thank you so much for this discussion. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. So this has been the University Outreach Festival, like we said, and this is our last session for the festival. So maybe if there are any final questions, but as so far as I see, we do not have any. Just a moment. No, we do not have any. So just for my final conclusion is for you, the panelists, Victor, Edwin, and Francis, in case these youngsters would want to contact you, please type in your contact details in the chat box so that they may be able to get in touch with you if they have further questions in the future with regards to what we have been speaking about or anything else, because as we can see, you guys are experienced and also you are fit to be mentors for our young people. So please just leave your contacts in the chat box and we really appreciate that. Okay, so as our panelists continue to put in their contact details in the chat box, like we began, this is the University Outreach Festival, which is the conclusion of the university outreach program, which has been a year-long program that has been running, aiming to connect the students with corporates in the sector of technology and innovation. And also, like we said, they have participated in activities such as skills training programs and corporate hackathons, which we just finished last month. Also, for those of you who have maybe just joined in between, we are Smart Lab and we are an innovation accelerator who aim to connect startups with corporates and just expose the startups to the innovative ecosystem. So my name is Melissa Sweetbird and I am from Smart Lab, and thank you so much for joining our session. And we will be also having other events in the future, like Corporate Unwind, Founder to Founders. So just stay tuned for all those events. We are live on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn at SmartLab255. So thank you so much for joining our session. Thank you, our panelists. This has been great. And we look forward to having such conversations in the future. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye. Have a great evening.